What are Bethesda games most well known for? The outdated engine and poor facial animations? The dated RPG formula and repetitive quests? The Todd Howard memes?
All of this just works. I'm not kidding.
No, it's the bugs. The abundant, hilarious, never-ending piles of bugs. Today I'm going to be making the Bethesda Softworks logo out of bugs. While I do have these mealworms as backup, I want to have more diversity, so I'll be looking in windowsills, lampshades, and that sort of thing for any dead bugs we might have lying around. I had harvested some bugs from outside windowsills, and after I brought them inside and they warmed up, I realized this one was still alive, so I let him go. Besides collecting bugs, I also need to make a mold to pour the resin into. For the mold, I got a sheet of acrylic and cut it on my table saw to make a little custom mold. Trying my best not to do something so unsafe with a table saw that I'll get roasted in the comments on YouTube. After several failed attempts to glue everything in place with rubber bands and clamps, I realized I really should have done what I'd seen other people do on YouTube many times, which is cut the acrylic to fit together like puzzle pieces. Unfortunately, I didn't want to waste this acrylic, so I went ahead with my fumbling attempts to make what I had work by using hot glue to tack things quickly in place before caulking more thoroughly later. Ordinarily, for something like this, I would use a deep pour resin. However, my concern is these dead bugs are so light that they would float in resin to the top of the mold. So instead, I'm going to use UV resin and cure it layer at a time so that all the bugs are frozen in place, so they'll have even distribution throughout the entire mold. I'll start with a gentle layer of mealworms and then try to place all of my other bugs in more obvious gaps so they'll stand out and be very visible in the final mold. This is going to be kind of a repetitive process without much unique to talk about. Hopefully there's someone in the comments who's knowledgeable about insects and can tell us all what each of these bugs are. This one here looks like a spider and... Ah! While I go through this repetitive process of laying down bugs, some more resin, and curing it with a UV light, I have a confession to make. This video is really just for the memes. I'm just doing it because I thought the idea was funny. I don't actually play Bethesda games that much, and when I have, it's mostly been long enough after release that I haven't encountered too many bugs. But I will tell you about my most memorable experience. Everyone has a Skyrim story. Have you ever heard of Wallace and Gromit? Wallace is a lad who likes cheese quite a bit. I wanted to play as his evil twin, so I named my character Floris. I played as a Khajiit and put all of my stats in stealth. From the very start of the game, even the tutorial area, I tried to steal from absolutely everyone and everything to level up my stealth and stealing abilities as fast as possible. I quickly got to the point where I could steal anything from anyone. I distinctly remember a point in Whiterun where I came up to a soldier practicing, and as he was drawing back the bowstring to practice, I stole the bow right out of his hands. I then started on my quest to steal the cheese from absolutely everyone and unload it in the basement of my house until I had filled every room with piles and piles of stolen cheese. Back to the sculpt, I guess the advantage of using UV resin is it makes for some pretty footage if you turn off the lights. It also means you don't have to wait very long to see the final result. While I did leave this under the UV light overnight just to be safe, realistically I probably could have demolded it within an hour after pouring the last bit of resin. Demolding it was a bit of a trick, mainly this middle area. I ended up having to try to cut and pry away at it quite a bit before I got it out, and then there's some scratches I had to clean up afterwards, but after a bit of sanding and polishing, this is what it looked like. I think it really did come out quite well. You can see all the different bugs very clearly. Though there are bubbles, it really doesn't matter for a piece like this. And the rest of the resin is incredibly clear. You can see every single bug I put in there in great detail. Unfortunately, the final shape was pretty skewed and off square. To do it properly, like I said, I really would have had to use a laser cutter to get all the tolerances absolutely correct, and cut in snap together joints so everything would have stayed exactly in the correct place. But I don't really think this silly little project was worth that level of effort, and actually, in the end, I think the jankiness of the outcome of this project helps mirror the quality of Bethesda games. You know, they're janky, they're off square, but they're still fun. Just like this project. If you don't like bugs, this is probably just disgusting. But if you do, I imagine this is a really fascinating piece. I wonder if I could sell it. Todd Howard, if you're interested, just shoot me an email.